If you like me, I like you. It's kind of like when this old song that used to be out when you was in grade school. Do you like me? Check yes or no. And if you like me, I'll like you back. But there's some people that no matter how much you like them and love them, they just don't like you. Pastor David and I found our ministry, no matter how many times we're there for people, how many times we love them, how many times we just walk around and just sop them up like a bowl of grits, they still just do not like us. And that's okay. I'm not everybody's cup of tea until they're thirsty. And then they want a tall glass. And then when they're done, they just put that dish down and walk on to the next one. But that's not agape love. That's a selfish love. Anybody know any more examples of love?
German chocolate cake.
What?
Can you make German chocolate cake?
German chocolate cake. Oh, yeah.
Sure is. Phileo love.
Sir?
Phileo love.
Okay, what kind of love is that?
Brotherly love.
Brotherly love. So there's a difference between love between my mom used to tell me and my dad when I was younger growing up, I love you both. I just love you different. Because it was used to me being by myself. It was just me and Mama. Even if she was married to my father, it was still always just me and her. It was never the third. It was never a family union because it would be me and her or me and him. It was never the three of us because they couldn't get along in the same room too long without fighting. And so when he come along, he was a threat to me. He was. What you doing with my mama? That's my mama. He'd put his hand on her leg and I'd pick it up and I'd move it off her leg and I'd put it on his own leg. Remember that?
Yeah, and all the time the kids back from doing.
Yeah. And then after they got married, for some reason he thought he was going to sleep with mama. I've been sleeping with that woman since I come here. And I was 8 years old. And then he's going to, the first night he comes back off their honeymoon. Well, I went in there and got my bath, got my pajamas on, and went and jumped in the bed. He picked me up and towed me right back to my room and put me in my bed. I was like, I do not know who this little thinks he is. Where did he come from? And he ain't my daddy. He ain't going to tell me what to do. And at that very moment, I chose then. I was going to give him a run for his money. Because, yeah, he was not my dad. And so I didn't care how much he loved me. You got to think I was just a kid. He was just a kid too. He was 19 years old. And I didn't care. I didn't like him. I didn't know why he was there. When Mama and him was dating, he took me out to eat my first steak. Man, let me tell you something. That was the best thing I ever ate in my life. I've never ate steak before. Our steak was bologna sandwich. I mean, fried bologna, that was the bomb, boy. Yeah, or a ketchup sandwich. Come on now, I know somebody did that. Yeah, or bananas and peanut butter.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Now we're on the same page. All right. So, I mean, and then he took me after church one day. He come to church, and I kept thinking, why does he come to church? He didn't like church. Because I asked him while we was playing bingo. I said, are you going to church? Nah, I go to church. Next Sunday, he was sitting in church. So after church, he said, y'all want to go get something to eat? Well, Mama said no. I said, yes. He said, where are we going to go? I said, I want a steak. I was 8. He said, all right, let's go get a steak. I thought, he don't really take me to get a steak. I never had one. We ate a steak. He took took me to the park and we had to play and watch the prairie dogs and all this prairie dogs. We did all this stuff and then they got married and I thought, I told him, I said, you played me. You used me to get to mama. Now this was when I was probably like 25 or so, I was telling you that. I finally just told the truth when I was 25. But all this time, he still loved me, no matter how I acted. And that was that love that a father had. He didn't even know how to be a father. I mean, I broke him in good with them boys. I broke him in and Chris just sewed it up, tore it straight up. I don't know what I would love. Bubba just kind of got in the middle of a whole lot of stuff. And so, but growing up, I mean, I just did not want him to be my dad because I thought he would replace me, so we were in competition. And Mom would tell us, that love is different. So there's all these loves. You can say, I love you. Or I look at a lot of the men in our church and I'll say, hey, God, God bless you. I'll say, I love you. Now, am I in love with all these men? No. It's different. It's a different kind of love. And I think us as Christians need to learn those different loves so we don't fall into traps of the enemy. But tonight I'm going to talk about agape love, that love from God. Agape is selfless love, giving love. It can be summarized as you before me. It describes love as an act of the will. It's a choice you make to put someone else's best interest above your own. Too often when people use the word love, what they're really saying is, I feel something. Tragically, what people often mean when they say I love you is not, I've made a commitment to place your needs above my own. A lot of times people just say I love you, especially kids. That's what I explained to this young girl this week. He doesn't love you. Matter of fact, you're too young right now. But love is not abuse. Love doesn't hit unless you're my child. Then I make you tell. But I don't beat you with my fist. And so I think that kids nowadays have love so messed up because the world has lost sight of love. And where love came from. Because most of the world is turned away from God. Love also today stands for you make me feel good. You're working right now for the person I love most, me. That isn't love. That is selfishness. If you build a relationship on that, you're going to have difficult days ahead. Can someone say amen? Amen. Love is the greatest story ever told. Of a God who would send his son to die on the rugged cross for me and you, for our sins, for someone we've never met him. God promised a way back, even though Adam and Eve sinned in the Garden of Eden, he promised a way back, and he sent his son. And through him, we can make our way back to God. I'm going to read to you now in 1 Corinthians. I don't know. I think this is the right version. Surely y'all will not all right. Maybe it's not. If I speak in tongues of men and of angels, but have not love, I'm a noisy gong or a clanging cymbal. And as I was going through this, and instead of going through the whole chapter of love, I wanted to just stop right here and read this chapter, the 13, because it's everything we should be. If we are ugly, we always have to have the last word, and you're hateful and disrespectful, and I'm even going to say it, full of sarcasm, the Bible says that you sound to him like a clanging cymbal. Have you ever heard these cymbals when it's not hit right? That is the worst sound that you can hear. It hurts your ears and you want to get away from it. So in other words, God is saying that if you don't have love, He don't care how much you speak in tongues, because He don't want to hear it. He said because that you are noisy, gong, or a clanging cymbal. It says, and if I have prophetic powers, I care to speak in tongues, prophesy, give tongues of interpretation, have all the gifts of the Spirit. He said, and understand all of my ministries and all knowledge, and have all faith, so as to remove mountains, but you have not love, I'm nothing. You don't have love for one another, we're nothing. If I give away all I have, if I deliver up my body to be burned, but have not love, I gain nothing. And number 4, love is patient. Man, love is patient. Patience is a virtue. And sometimes we don't have a lot of that. To be patient with people, especially our children or our spouses. Sometimes we don't have any patience. It says that love is kind. You don't have to be best friends with someone to be nice. It doesn't take much just to be kind. Love does not envy or boast. What does that mean? Envy means want what you have, right? Envious. Boast. Nobody cares how many cars and trucks you have. The most boastful people on the planet, I believe, and this is so funny because I've done it for my husband, is hunters and fishermen. And I'm not trying to say they don't have love, so don't be going and leaving and posting on Facebook, Pastor Man, 700 don't have love. I'm just saying they will catch it. They will shoot the deer. And the first thing they're going to do is boast about it. They're so excited, right? They post about it, they talk about it. But what's the first question they want to ask? How many points? I didn't even know there was a difference. I did not know until he got into hunting that points meant points. I don't even know if I want to go there. I thought points mean like, okay, you have all these deer walk by. That's a 5. That's a straight 10 right there. Because I thought everybody got a 10 point. I was like, oh, you got a 10 point. Yeah. I was like, man, that must have been a nice buck. I never knew they counted the things on their head. The antlers. I love to collect them. But I mean, until he started doing it, I didn't know. He just said, man, honey, I said, he was only a 6 point. So in my head, I'm thinking, well, we let him pass so he could get better next year. I didn't realize he just wasn't old enough. And then he told me that they fell off and grew another one. And I got to thinking, if he's the 5 or a 6 or a 10, how's he going to be a 12 next year? So I had to start asking questions because it didn't make any sense to me. I mean, and even Josh, when he told me, he said, he brought in this antler on the side. It was just one, and he said it had 6. And I said, well, that's a nice 6 point. He said, Mom, this is only one antler. So what does that mean he had on the other side? I said, well, one. Because this one has all of them. I mean, if they has the same, this is one antler. One. Yeah. Yeah, all of it counted as one. He said, okay, let's Google it. And And so anyway, I learned a lot, but they are so boastful with their bucks. And now I know why. Because if it's a 12 point, that's because he's got 12 points. 6 on this side and 6 on this side. Sometimes they got 5 on this side and 7 on this side. Yeah, Virgils. So, but I just thought I'd talk about that because we are talking about boasting. Who's the other one? Fishermen. Fishermen boast what? Josh will catch a fish this big, and by the time we get home, it's that big. And he should be on the monsters. Have y'all seen that show, the Catching Monsters or whatever? Oh yeah, he thinks he's going rogue next week. I mean, he just thinks he's the most awesome fisherman because he can outfish anybody. And right now the house is pretty hot. I'm just going to tell y'all about this boasting because Joshua has out-hunted his daddy. And his daddy don't want to hear it. He said, "So, Dad, we're going to mount the doe too?" His daddy said, "No, you do not mount does." "Why not? I mean, I should have heard." "Dad, have you got your bow this year? And your buck this year?" He said, "No." He said, "What's wrong with you?" He told him before they went fishing, "Dad, do you want to sit on this side?" He said, "No, this is my chair." He goes, "Well, maybe you ought to sit in my side." So it's pretty thick at the house. And he went hunting last night. I thought, "God, please let that man get something. Please. I don't care if it is a 4 point. Just let him get something." Or at least a hog. We're not going to go about talking about the hogs either because I had no idea. I thought it was Wilbur out there. And you learn a lot. Some of us didn't grow up like that. Y'all knew what I didn't even have a steak till I was 8 years old. Some of us didn't grow up like that. But I'm glad to have known about it now. I'm not going to tell you. And I won't be around it when they cut it. But I did cook some deer steak last night. It was really good. It does not, it's not, what? Chris? How many points was on it? I don't know. 4, because there was 4 sides. Okay, love does not envy or boast. It is not arrogant. You know anybody that's arrogant? Lord, anointing. I just want to take the oil and dump it. It's not rude. I will have to tell y'all, I'm going to tell y'all another funny story. I'm going to try to hush. I was at the Bird's Egg on Sunday morning, and y'all know what I had on Sunday. That is my favorite vest, which is my tutu vest is what I call it. I had on camo, pearls, lace, and a tutu. My tutu vest. So I go in there, mind my own business. I'm not thinking that everybody in our group, which is Mama and Pastor and Josh, we're all in camo. Everybody else isn't. And then here come Tammy and Virgil when we're about to leave, and they go get in their stuff, and they got on camo. Well, there's this young lady, I'll say, come in and sit down. And you could tell she might have been a little bougie, not much, but just a little. And I got up to leave. And I walked by, and when I did, I heard, "Oh my God, how ridiculous." I said, "Oh." I turned around, I looked at Pastor, and I said, "She talking to me?" He goes, "Hmm." "She talking about you." I said, "Let's just go pay." Then I had the boot on. Well, that didn't even help, right? Because it looks like a big clunking claw, bear claw. So I'm walking over to the register, and she looks down, and she says something again about my clothes. And I turned around to say something to her because I was like, "Do I look funny?" But I didn't because I thought she was so rude. I was like, "Oh, why? Why is she being able to be rude went to say something, I went, and I looked at Pastor and I said, Mama paid for our breakfast, let's just go. So I turned and walked out. She was rude, but the Lord wouldn't let me say nothing. Why? Because love isn't rude. And even though she was rude to me, what good would it have done for me to do that? Especially after they all know in there who we are. Every Sunday. It would have ruined my witness. It was hard. I'd swallowed every tooth I got in my head. It does not insist on its own way. Husband and wife, it's the same thing. We can't insist on our own way every time. You always got to give and take a little bit. Okay, you two, if you're going to sit on the front, y'all have to be nice. Yeah. Oh, did somebody slap somebody? Who slapped? Oh, okay. Oh. That Karen is a work in progress. She said, I'd have said something. It is not irritable. Oh my goodness, y'all. It's not irritable. I mean, this chapter will tear you up. It's irritable or resentful. It does not rejoice at wrongdoing, but rejoices with the truth. Love bears all things. It believes all things. It hopes all things. It endures all things. Love never ends. As for prophecies, they will pass away. As for tongues, they will cease. As for knowledge, it will pass away. For we know in part as we prophesy in part, but when the perfect comes, the partial will pass away. When I was a child, I spoke like a child. I thought like a child. I reasoned like a child. When I became a man, I gave up my childish ways. Y'all know I'm a woman.
Yeah.
The word says man, mankind. That's speaking to all of us. When we grow up, most of us in here is, we should already be done with playing childish games.
Come on now.
Man.
Being hateful, being resentful, trying to poke and prod. We should be done with all of that. Because he said that once you grow up, you're supposed to stop. You ever seen those folks that just will never grow up? Now, I'm not talking about their actions either. I'm talking about in their life. They will just never grow up. I seen a guy go down the road one day, and I was kind of fixing to pull out, and I kind of stopped and waited, and he went by, and he was just like, and speeding real fast down Court Drive. I thought, oh, that's a dumb kid. Mama paid for it. Daddy paid for it, so they don't act ignorant in it. So no responsibility. I was just fussing. I get up to the red light, it's like a 58-year-old dude. And I thought, he ain't grown up yet. He ain't grown up yet. I mean, that's a silly example, but it's the truth. But most of us think that way. Some kids never grow up. Pastor has a cousin, he used to tell me, he will never grow up. He will always be a kid at heart. That's not always bad, but it is if you're acting childish. Because acting childish is not cute. For now we see in a mirror dimly, but then face to face. Now I know in part, then I shall know fully, even as I have been fully known. In other words, you should know this by now. You should be working into knowing these things. So now faith, hope, and love abide, these three. But the greatest is love. To love one another. It's often hard, sometimes I know, to love people. I don't know how to give you any examples of other than my life. to love people who have wronged you, hurt you. We've had people to just be so ugly. And they come back to church, and they come to the altar, and we have to set that aside so that we can pray with them. It's not easy. Because the flesh in us wants to be like, I got you in my face. That's the flesh. The Spirit man says love conquers all. And if we can love people back to Jesus, no matter what they have done to us, and be forgiving, then I believe that I'm being like Jesus. 1 Corinthians 13 gives us the nuts and bolts of loving one another. This kind of love is rooted in God's character and flows from His power at work in us. Our ability to love like God loves is the result of our abiding in Him and letting His life flow through us. All of these things I know are a work in progress, because they're a work in progress in me too. But in order for us to be effectively used by God and be a witness, we have to try and do better than try. We have to make ourselves begin to live out this word. We don't want to. Our flesh doesn't. But we have to in order to be a witness for Jesus Christ. If not, if we're opposite of everything this book that I just read to you, then 1 Corinthians chapter 13, then why are you here? Because you're just like the world. In order to be different, in order to stand out and be a peculiar people and be that of Christ, we have to show God's love. We have to. He's what He's wanting us to do. And so I asked that tonight, but as through the week, you're going to see there's going to be hard times for you to show love. Their circumstances will show up. And just say, Lord, help me to show your love. I may not show my love on the inside. I may be like, Lord, let me respond with your love. Because I believe that that's what He wants us to do, is respond in love and love people even when they're unlovable. And love and show Jesus through us. Some people will never know anything else but me. Are we enough to get them to heaven? Amen? You stand to your feet.